Hey, welcome everybody. Brother Goodwin here, Parsing the Spotlight. I got an exciting show for you today. We're going to do a show on AI, artificial intelligence, and if we get to it, transhumanism. Let me read a couple of verses, and then we'll get Doc in here. I'm in Revelation 13, beginning in verse 15 and 16. Is that right, Doc? Mm-hmm. Okay. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, and that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Does that sound like artificial intelligence to you? Does that sound like some kind of computerized program? Yeah. Verse 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And we'll stop right there. And artificial intelligence, the mark of the beast, all interconnected here, transhumanism. We'll get to that. We're gonna discuss this important topic that has a lot to do with the end times, and we are there right now. And we'll be back 30 seconds. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to our program today of artificial, and we're going to get at it. I mean, I don't know. There's some crazy stuff here. And we did an update a while ago, Doc. Stuff was coming to me. I mean, this isn't my forte, but I do understand prophecy. I'm just not real educated in the artificial intelligence, transhumanism. It's not been my big thing. But I told Doc we got to get into some of this because it's certainly here.
It is here.
I'm not, the fact that I'm not too good at this doesn't mean I don't believe it.
Oh no,
I certainly do, and I see it, and we're all part of it every day. We're all on our phones and our computers and our headsets, and
life is controlled by
our cars are computerized. Everything, it's all happening. And you go to the hospital, you get checked in. I mean, there's everything's computerized and monitors, and we are there. I wanted to start with some basics, Doc, before I turn you loose, because you got some great slides to give us. But I wanted to just very simply get some definitions out here, and I think you probably got some definitions on your slide. But I looked up artificial intelligence. What is artificial intelligence? What do people mean by that? And here's what it says here. Artificial intelligence, or AI, is a set of technologies that enable computers to perform a variety of advanced functions, including the ability to see, understand, and translate spoken and written language, analyze data, make recommendations, and on it goes. Yeah. Does that sum it up pretty well for you? Yeah. Transhumanism, we'll wait, because we'll see if we get there.
If we don't get weighed down, we might have to do 2 sessions like we did last time. But
well, let me. I also on my list here. I like to see some examples that we see in the Bible that we think are connected to this, and I think we just read a passage.
Yes,
that's the first passage I think of that makes me think, because you got the image of the beast; it's going to speak. This all sounds like AI and
it sounds like sci-fi in a sense from a relation to the past, but today it's an understandable thing because robots and these are things that are connected with intelligence that, other than they haven't been able to refine it to a perfect body, but they're probably not getting too far from it. I mean, soft tissue, sensitivity, things that are human, that are already available. So I can imagine. But let me up front make sure everybody understands. I am convinced the Antichrist that you've read about will be a man.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a robot. It's going to be a man.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that man cannot be connected and have access to a system that's worldwide.
And we know that because for one proof is this: the Antichrist and the false prophet are the first two people that go to the lake of fire.
Yes.
They're human.
They are human.
So that settles that question.
Should be. For me, it's been settled. It is a man.
Yeah.
But we are now living in some times that are very interesting. And if she'll put the first slide up there, we'll get started on this.
The only other thing I wanted to bring out, and you may have this, here is wisdom. This is verse 18, Revelation. This is the Mark of the Beast chapter.
Yeah.
He causes in verse 17, no man can buy or sell unless he has this number, this chip or whatever it's going to be. I think we understand it in our generation better than any other generation. But then he says in verse 18, here's wisdom. So in other words, hey, you that have some wisdom, look at this. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast. Yeah. For it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. I talked to you about this at breakfast this morning. Isn't the World Wide Web, www, that connects all web pages?
The sixth letter of both the Greek and the Hebrew alphabet is W. World Wide Web. That may be a coincidence to us, but that may not even be what this does, but that's an interesting thought. And I presented that for at least
because
12,
all the AI
years.
and transhumanism has one thing in common.
Yes.
The internet, as we call it.
Absolutely.
Whatever that is.
They call it the internet of all things. But put that slide back up again there. And technology has become the end-time digital God. Probably 10, 12 years ago, Wilfred Hahn, I believe he's over, not in England, Scotland, somewhere over there, Ireland, wrote a book. And I got his book at least 12 years ago, probably. And it was the end-time digital God. He was way ahead on all of this. And because here's what it can do. It's omniscient. All you got to do is Google. There's your answer.
Yeah.
There's not a question you can't answer. Now, there are some things you can trick it with, but it's soon, if not already, past that point. Remember when you first had a cell phone and you could say Siri such and such, and if it was a silly thing, it was like, it doesn't compute. It didn't, But then it got to where Siri would play games with you.
Yeah.
And so it's grown. So it's omniscient in knowing everything, and it's omnipresent. It's available 24/7 all over the world at the same time. And we'll get to it later with Elon Musk and SpaceX and the system that he has. This is going to be anywhere, period. In the middle of the ocean that you used to travel in the boat, now you have internet connection anywhere in. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And so, and then thirdly, it is almost, and I probably should underline that, it is almost omnipotent. I say almost because God alone is all power. But this thing has become the power that is controlling all of human life. You can't get in your vehicle without technology. You can't even get a Coke or a Dr. Pepper at McDonald's if the computer isn't working. And so one of the things about it sees itself as the next step of evolution. And so, folks, here's what we need to understand. You can take that one down if you want. Here's what we need to understand. All of this in technology for artificial intelligence is eventually used as evolutionary tool. All of these people that are involved, Elon Musk, you name it, all of them are hardcore evolutionists. And they really do believe that they are on the cutting edge of an era of evolution that is going to bring humanity into 2.0. They're not creationists. They don't see the God of the Bible. They don't see that God created all things. Mm-hmm. They believe that evolution has brought us to where we are and that they are at the edge of being used in evolution to move us on to the next level. Dangerous, but that's where we are. And Put up that next slide if you would, because you need to understand 3 levels of artificial intelligence.
And isn't it just to add something there? Doesn't that make the leaders of this? They're bringing it in. They'll do anything they have to.
They think that they literally are more evolved than you or I.
They're bringing in the great utopia.
They are bringing it in. They honestly, if you don't understand how evolutionary thought works, you need to do a little research on it and you'll understand. But in evolution, there's always a phase in their thought where something goes click to the next.
Yeah.
To the next. And they believe that because they're involved in all of this, that they are more evolved and smarter than you are. So first of all, artificial intelligence is something we use all the time. It's used to perform something within a narrow parameter. In other words, its guidelines are already there. And so you can program it. And, some of you probably have in your house an Alexis box. And you can tell Alexis, turn your light on, turn your lights off, or whatever. But Alexis isn't thinking for itself, supposedly. It's programmed to do what in a parameter. So that's just basically what and it's the use of technology that really is beneficial. Through this, doctors are now able to use nanotechnology, which is another form we'll get to hopefully later. But now they're able to use a camera, and they're able to go in orthoscopically, and they can go in and do surgery on the inside with just a little bitty incision. Where used to, they have to cut you open, and 3 weeks later, maybe you was able to get out of bed.
Yeah.
All of this, so artificial intelligence, as I said, it's a tool, and it can be used good or bad.
Yeah, I'm thinking of that thing I've seen. It's kind of funny. Husband and wife sitting at the table, and they're talking. Yeah, them conspiracy people, they think that the government can hear everything we say. And the husband laughed, and the wife laughed, and Alexa laughed, and Siri laughed.
Yeah, exactly.
And it really is that way.
It is. That's where we are. So look at the next slide that we have. And I'll try to go a little faster here. Most of these slides are from 2 different presentations that I teach on the road to Antichrist kingdom and artificial intelligence in the Antichrist kingdom. So that's why some of them look a little different. I pulled these out of some of my teaching. So on this one, we're looking at artificial general intelligence. This is the next phase. And it's often called strong intelligence. And again, it is evolution is just simply the movement forward, the evolving of something. And so here's what's happening as artificial intelligence evolves further. It'll have the ability to think and make decisions based on the information that it's received. Some of you probably, and we joked about it earlier, but people being able to take ideas, put it in the Grok program or chat, GTV, and all of these artificial intelligence programs, and it'll write your essay for it.
Yeah.
This is where it's at. It can think for itself, but it only thinks for itself because it's based on algorithms without emotions.
Yeah, it's going to the World Wide Web.
Yeah.
It's just like if you Google something. What the computer's doing is it's going to the World Wide Web, all over the world, and it's finding those keywords and things, and it's putting it all together.
Pulling it together.
And there it is, instantaneously.
Yeah. And so, but it doesn't have any emotions to it. And put the next one up. And this is where we are almost at, if not already.
Superintelligence.
Superintelligence, artificial superintelligence. It's where it evolves beyond human guidance or the dependence of humanity.
Wow.
And to be able to compute beyond the ability of the human brain. Well, already we know that artificial intelligence can gather information through the web out here, gather information anywhere, anything that's been digitized. A picture, words, books, whatever that's been digitized. It doesn't matter what language it is. It doesn't matter where it is in the world. It can gather that information together. But now, already, you, with your own brain, to be able to research all of this out would maybe take you days. Some of the reports have said that the quantum computers using artificial intelligence is now able to solve problems that would take human brain years, even thousands of years to accomplish, and do it in no matter of 2 or 3 minutes. And so what they're fearful of is that this ability will be able to move outside of human control and write its own binary code and develop its own world.
And now we're into the Star Trek and sci-fi movies that we've grown up with, where the technology takes over and you can't shut it off.
Exactly. And
Elon Musk talked about that a few years ago at the beginning.
They are fearful, but here's the thing. All of these people that are in these fields, first of all, as I've said, they're evolutionary in their thought, and they are all in business. They all want to make as much money as they can make, whether, I don't know how you could spend $1 billion, let alone 1, 2, or 3, or 100. And so they see and are fearful about it, but I can't restrain myself because he's going to get ahead of me. And this one says, well, I can't just draw back from this because he's going to get ahead of me. I got to be number one. And the devil is using all of this, Dan, to move humanity to the place where eventually in the middle of the tribulation, as we read a while ago, a man connected to all of this is going to be able to literally run the world in that sense. Put up the next slide.
And while she's doing that, let's just take a moment and talk about our program here. We are viewer supported, and we are dependent upon you, the listener, to, if God speaks to your heart and you say, man, I'd like to support these guys, I'd like to get them out there more, I'd like to get them on some more networks on television. And we've got people who don't watch TV. They watch us on YouTube, and they give us money because they believe in us and they want us out there. Maybe God's speaking to you today.
Amen.
You can get a hold of us. You can go to the 800 number, 555-888-505-SPOT. It comes up every now and then on the screen back there. You can go to the website and go to and there's donate buttons there, or you can contact us there and email. If you'd like to talk to me or Doc, I'm happy to call you and tell you what we're all about, what we believe in, and where we stand and where we're headed from here. And but we need your help to stay on the air. So if you'd like to be a part of that, contact us. Doc, go ahead.
Before we get into that, my little red radio that we send out to the rest of the world, if you'd like to check that out.
Yep.
Be able to send the language to remote areas of the world, and for $25. So,
boy, we've had a lot of people, and that money does not go to us. If you'd like that, you go to the website, click on Doc's Bookstore, and you'll see the radio there.
It's a great missionary outreach.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Well, back to number 5 here, Revelation in verse 17 and verse 13, that no man might buy or sell except they got the mark. And the second phrase there is the question is this: how can the mark system provide total control over Earth's population, or at least that which is under the control of the Antichrist? How's that going to happen? And how can the currency of the world be under the surveillance and be evaluated by the value system of the time, which we already see a social credit system in there? And so how can all of this happen? No man just with his own mind, and no man with all of his army could do that.
No way to know.
But with technology and artificial intelligence, it can happen. So put up the next slide. We'll go quickly because I want to see the connection between all of this and how it can work with transhumanism. And so what we find is that out in space right now, as of May 25, there's 9,800 active satellites that are in low altitude orbit over the Earth. That's amazing.
That is. That's mind-boggling.
And if you counted all the inactive and the dead satellites, because most of them only have a lifespan of maybe 5-6 years, and you put it all together, out in outer space, the biggest, as size of a baseball and bigger, are 27,000 trackable pieces.
Huh. That sounds dangerous for somebody flying up there.
Yeah. Put up the next slide. And this is Elon Musk network. SpaceX, Starlink. Matter of fact, just recently, Iran shut off all the internet for all of their population.
Yeah.
So he activated Starlink so that anybody that had a Starlink connection phone or program, they could still have internet because you can't turn it off. He's the boss.
Yeah.
And here's what he has in mind. He wants to put up 42,000 in the space. And as of May of this year, he has 7,578 Starlink satellites. Over 3/4, almost 80% of all of the satellites that are active in lower altitude belong to Elon Musk. One man.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying he's Antichrist. Don't get me wrong. I'm just showing you that the technology, and now with the satellite system, the ability for you can go out at Google, and I went out there a few years ago and went into this room, and you could have 3 10-foot screens in front of you. And this was probably 8 or 10 years ago. And I put in my zip code. And then I put in my address of my farm. I'm in California, and it zeroed in, and I could see my grandchildren and my wife's car in the parking lot at our farm. This was 8 or 10 years ago. So this network and system's already out there. Put up the next slide there. And what they are really wanting to do, and you've already been talking about transhumanism. They are working on how to blend this, and so they're starting like everything does. Everything starts with good intentions. If I can find a way for a man who got hurt in war to once again use his arm, or I find somebody that has a problem physically, and if I could find a chip that I could put in that neural link spot in that brain, I could augment and offset that biological problem. All of this starts with good intentions. And now they already have a chip where a lady can, instead of having to take a hormone blocker for getting pregnant, now they can give you a chip that lasts for about 13 years without having to take any pills. The list goes on of the things you talked about at breakfast, the ability to maybe give people sight again.
Yeah, there was a star. It was called EYES.
Yes.
It's probably still out there. They had invented this system. Somehow, a guy who couldn't see. They didn't fix the eye. What they did is they went into the nerve, just like a feed from a camera.
They bypassed where the short was.
Yeah.
And these things, right now, Google has glasses. I mean, you've probably seen people. Some of you maybe have played in some of these virtual reality games. You put this thing on here and that computer system, and I'm here to tell you, it will take your breath away.
It's like you're somewhere else.
It's like you're right there, and you're walking, and man, the next thing you know, you've stepped out of an elevator that doesn't have a floor on it, and you lose your breath. And you forget that you're actually looking at an augmented false reality, but it's real. They are now working. I wish I had time, but I could show you some slides that I have where the size of a postage stamp can be put on the skin. It's translucent. You don't even see it. The wires are nanotechnology that are 1/3000th of a thickness. It's thinner than a hair on your head. And this thing it operates solar or off the energy of your body. It's amazing. Camera, the whole thing. All of this is already there.
So let's narrow this down in the 3 minutes we got left.
Oh my!
How would this fit the Antichrist system?
Yeah.
I think what you're saying is they're going to have some sort of chips or something which gives them access to information.
I'm sure that companies like SpaceX and others are probably on the cutting edge right now of being able to make that neural link, and that's what they call it, between the brain and contact artificial intelligence through technology.
A guy could be sitting on a stage and you could ask him to explain thermonuclear energy. He doesn't have to know it, but the chip is connected to the web and he can start spouting it off.
He's got it. No.
That's a simple version of what I'm thinking, but...
Look at that next slide. You're exactly right. I don't know, we're probably running out of time, but this is something, you can look it up for yourself. This is where all of this started. It's an intellectual and cultural movement supporting the use of science and technology to improve human mental and physical characteristics and capability. That's their goal. It's always good. Look at the next slide, because time's going to run out on us here. I'm pretty good at running out of time, aren't we? There are 10 things that are the end goals of it. And they're all for the purpose of, you've been talking about it, transhumanism. It's genetic engineering. Why worry about it? I can short circuit that function in your body with a chip. Mm-hmm. It's coming. And it's nanotechnology. That's unbelievable things. That's how something the size of a spider in the room can actually hear and see, and 1,000 miles away, it's on the computer screen. Bionic implants, we're familiar with that. And cognitive enhancement, I need one of those. And then artificial intelligence itself, and then life extension. They're making claims that in the future, they'll be able, through all of this, you'll be able to live a couple of hundred years. And then technology singularity. That means at some point, technology will become complete and full and in control. And then virtual reality won't be out here, but it'll be on the inside. And then mind uploading. They think that you can upload your mind and you could have that put over in another body and you're still alive again. Woo. I'm here to tell you, they don't realize you're a soul, and there's a separation between your mental understanding and who you are. And lastly, they want you to have space colonization. These are evolutionists who do not understand that man was made to live on the earth.
Well, folks, this is, for some of you, this is some deep stuff that maybe you haven't thought of before. And it is deep, and it is mind-boggling. But it is true, and it is happening. A lot of these things. We'll try to do some more on this in another show coming up. But for now, keep your eyes on them skies.